God in order to know how to manage the world around us, how to manage the things that go on in our lives and in the lives of the people that we're connected to. How to manage when we hear things on the news, how to manage when we see disruption in the world and chaos and all the things that we may see, how to simply manage change. We must remain in close proximity to God. So, in order to remain in close proximity, what do I have to do? It's our second word, practice. I have to practice my faith. I have to make a decision to commit to practicing and walking out specific habits. You know, we make it sound like it's a bad thing to have good habits. It's not a bad thing. It's certainly not a bad thing for us to brush our teeth in the morning. It's not a bad thing for us to shower. It's not a bad thing for us to iron our clothes. It's not a bad thing for us to change and wash our sheets. And there are things that we do out of habit, but they're good habits. And if we didn't do those things, there would be all types of repercussions. We would all know. We could see if a person isn't practicing those good habits, right? When you see a homeless person right away, and under certain circumstances, you can tell just how bad it is for that particular person, because you see they haven't been able to be in a space where they can have those good habits, right? Well, I don't know why we don't think that is applicable to who we are spiritually. When we don't have good spiritual practices, we're gonna manifest stench. We're gonna manifest things that are not good. You want to know why some people have stinking thinking? You want to know why some people have stinking personality? You want to know why some people are so negative? You want to know why some people are so irritated all the time, so discouraged? Why they bring a cloud when they come into a room? Because they are neglecting to practice. Practicing that faith, practicing being intentional, practicing prayer time, practicing reading the Bible. So I don't always understand what I'm reading. Read anyway. There's so many options nowadays for devotions and things that you can find on the internet even. I mean, there's just the list endless. And I'm sure if anybody's attached to a church, obviously if you're watching something like this, you know somebody then, right? And whoever you know, you can go to someone else and say, hey, can you point me in the direction of a specific tool? But we must practice. We must remain in close proximity in order for the formation of God to manifest in our lives so that we are the desired outcome that He has in His mind. We must remain close, and then we must practice what we have come to learn to the degree that we understand it. Here's what I love about God. There's not one size fits all. All Christians must do this way at this time. He gives us the formula, and then He lets us learn and build and grow. The formula includes prayer. The formula includes reading the Word. The formula includes fellowshipping with other believers. The formula includes denying my flesh. The formula includes singing songs of praise to God. Those are things that are in the formula. But how they manifest, how long someone prays, what song they sing, how often they do this or that, varies from individual to individual based on their understanding, based on their ability, based on their culture. Because there is a huge cultural element to how we manifest our practices. Some churches have one type of praise practice, another church is a different kind. God's not majoring on the minors, so don't major on the minors. Ask ourselves, are we practicing the things that keep us in close proximity to God? I am encouraging you tonight, as we allow God during the top of this year, this time of formation and reformation, this time of stepping out in faith, rediscovery, right? I talked New Year's Eve about facing it with faith, facing 2021 just with faith. Not that we have the answers, but we have faith in the God who has the answers. As we are in this season, we must trust what we know about God. So that's why some Wake Chapel disciples are getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning if they're not already up, some are already adjusting their quick get dress time just to carve out about 15 minutes to pray with their brothers and sisters. So that everybody who's on the call is praying together. What are we doing? We are practicing and we are reminding ourselves that this is the season of fasting and prayer. And even after the prayer call ends, you can continue in prayer in your own way. 2 or 3 of you can call each other and continue in prayer. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to practice this time of remaining in close proximity with God. So when we do that, we learn something else about this process of formation. I mean, we learn something else about the issue of formation, and that's our other word, process. We discover that it's not a 1, 2, 3, set me free, it's on and popping. It's a God does things for us little by little here and there. He shapes us over time. He shapes us according to his timing. He shapes us according to his plan. I love this part because, you know, it takes the pressure off of me trying to decide how fast something's supposed to move along. It's moving at the pace that God wants it to move. But we must be careful that we don't try to bypass God's processes, because that's what some people want, right? They want results with no process. They want to hurry up and get to the end. Lord, just give me everything I want and just give it to me now. You know, there's some things that I want from God right now. I'm asking him. And I was thinking about it, and I said, wait a minute. Maybe I'm in the process of preparation for some of the things I'm asking you. Maybe it's just not time because maybe you're processing something. You know, we don't want to go ahead of God. We don't want to jump off the wheel. We don't want to run from being in close proximity. We don't want to abort our practices. We want to allow God to take us through the process. And we want to remind ourselves that it is God that's going to help us. Now, it's not easy. I want to read a quote to you. It says, finding the right path to take in life is an ongoing challenge. It's easy to flail in the dream of possibilities rather than face the realities in front of us. Waiting upon the Lord is no easy virtue. Now, that's the truth.
Got that right.
We don't always want to wait. I know I don't. I'm just like, can't we just get some of this stuff over with? But God is teaching us that the process is so much sweeter. As we watch things take form, as they start to sort of take shape, they go from being a blob of nothingness to something beautiful. But it takes time for us to get there. It's a detailed process. God is into the details. Have you ever noticed the tiniest details of your life that he gives attention to? The smallest. Sometimes you're asking yourself, God, you care about that? You know, I'll speak to the ladies, and maybe the men can relate too, but have you ever had those times where you're like, I need, crazy color, blue something, blouse, or this or that, something that, maybe it's not common. And then you just walk right into them in the store. And then you're calling a friend, I can't believe I found this thing. And then you ask, God, you care about that? And he says, yes, I am so involved in the details of your life. That's why the enemy tries to distract you. He tries to create distractions because he knows that God is involved in the details. And so he wants us to get all off kilter and all out of sorts so that we're not focused on the things that God is calling us to focus on. We've got to learn how to let some things run their course. Everything is not going to move the way we want to move. It is part of a process. Sometimes it's we ourselves that we're afraid of. We're afraid that we don't have the consistency to remain in proximity, that we don't have the discipline to practice what we need to practice consistently.